Sheridan Hukuma lived a life filled with bullying, health issues, and depression. She and her family were displaced ever since sewage contamination forced them to move in with 15 others in a 3-bedroom home. In September 2015, Sheridan was found hanging from a tree beside the Attawapiskat River. She had lost all hope for a different future. She was just 13 years old. Sheridan's death set off a disastrous chain of events in the fragile community of Attawapiskat.
Well, it is a sad and heartbreaking situation in the community of Attawapiskat. It's desperate, in fact. 11 people tried to take their own lives on Saturday alone, prompting the town to declare a state of emergency.
In a 7-month span, over 100 people in this small and remote northern Ontario community attempted suicide. Some as young as 11, others as old as 72. "We're crying out for help," said Attawapiskat Chief Bruce Shishish. "Just about every night, there is a suicide attempt."
So why is this happening? Dr. Gabor Mate believes that at the core of this suicide pandemic is unresolved trauma and social conditions that feed into a further sense of hopelessness. The people of Attawapiskat face these challenges every day, and to many in the community, these tragic attempts of suicide came as no surprise. This trauma stems from a profound pain within the hearts of Indigenous people, passed down from generations. The intergenerational trauma from the Indian Act, the residential school systems, and the ongoing oppression has only deepened throughout history. Like many others in the Indigenous communities, the people of Attawapiskat have been left to face the outcome of the severe and relentless abuse they've received. They are cut off from their spiritual connections with the earth and cultural tradition, and as a result, they continue the cycle of abuse within their families and turn to addiction as a way to cope.
Located on the Attawapiskat River in northern Ontario, there is only one road in and one road out. The town's isolated location has greatly led to the absence of economic activity in the area, which has resulted in a lack of sustainable businesses, employment, proper education, and even clean water. The people living here fight every day for the basic resources we take for granted. Shipping in product and hiring more help is just not possible. There's just no money. The federal government has countered that the money being provided to the community is fair and will look into further funding. However, in the meantime, the people in this community continue to suffer. Is withholding this money just another form of oppression masked by policies and rules?
The community's housing crisis and the almost third world-like conditions they are living in are shocking. Attawapiskat has roughly 340 homes for its 2,000 residents, an average of 7 people in each home. Some houses with as many as 13 people. Over a quarter of these houses are units which have been deemed not only uninhabitable, but also condemned.
Boredom is also a glaring issue for the youth in this community. No youth center, recreational facilities, or sports give the youth little opportunity to put their focus into other things than drugs and alcohol. The newly built elementary school is once again closed due to flooding, so not even education is a viable option for mental stimulation. Is it any wonder that the youth in this community are in despair?
My daughter is only 2 years old, and though I do not know the personal struggles she will face in her life, I do know that she lives in a secure and stable environment, and that she has a world of possibilities before her. She will be told that she is valued, and she will be encouraged to dream, because she will be given the tools and supports to pursue those dreams, just as I was provided what I needed to pursue my dreams, and as my parents were before me. My heart breaks for the families of Attawapiskat and the sense of hopelessness in their community, where there are no possibilities. There's only survival.
I cannot help but to think about my own homestead and plot of land. I take pride and ownership in growing my own food as a means of providing for my family, and I love seeing the fruits of my labor. To even think of having this taken from me and be forced from the home that I know and love is gut-wrenching. Then, when I think to the future and the impact that being forced off my land would have on my children, it's almost too much to bear. However, my mind also goes to the stark realization that this will likely never be a reality for me. Yet this was, and still is, the reality for so many in Indigenous communities. These are the systemic issues that we hope to uncover as social workers. We need to take a multidimensional approach in seeing the ways in which this community is suffering and realize these problems are filled with many dimensions we cannot see. How is it that a society rich with resources, wealth, and funding, there are places like Attawapiskat filled with people who do not have running water, adequate shelter, and guaranteed food for their families?
Although there have certainly been times in life when we have had struggles, we have never wondered where our next meal was coming from. We have never been told to keep our showers to less than 3 minutes because the unclean water could harm our skin. We have never gone to sleep worrying that we could wake up the next morning with a dead loved one. Our hearts are breaking with you, Attawapiskat, and we will continue to share your story, advocating for a better life for the Indigenous people.
And moving to inspire a new hope for us all.
We hear you, Attawapiskat, and we see you.